The news spread fast through Omega-7. A human captain had challenged Inspector Vex to single combat. Most aliens thought it was the funniest thing they had ever heard. A few thought it was the stupidest. Inside the Perseverance, the crew was not laughing. "We're going to die," Minho said, pacing back and forth in the small meeting room. "That ship is 3 times bigger than ours. It has weapons we can't even name." "Sit down," Kim Tae-ho told him. "We're not dead yet." "But Captain," I said, "sit down." Minho sat, but he kept shaking his leg nervously. Sora was at her computer, studying everything she could find about hegemony warships. Yujin was checking their communication systems. Do-hyun was down in the engine room making changes to their ship. "All right," the captain said. "Let's talk about what we know." "We know we're idiots," Minho muttered. "We know they think we're weak," Kim Tae-ho continued, ignoring him. "They expect us to run away, or beg for mercy." "Maybe we should," Minho said. "It's too late for that. We made the challenge. If we back down now, every human ship that comes to this part of space will be treated like slaves." Sora looked up from her computer. "I've been studying their ship. It's called the Dominion's Pride, Hegemony Cruiser Class. Built for fighting other warships, not for chasing cargo ships." "What kind of weapons?" the captain asked. "Plasma cannons, energy torpedoes, standard stuff, but lots of it. They also have defensive shields that can stop most attacks." "Most attacks?" "Well, most attacks from other alien ships. I don't think they've ever fought humans before." Kim Tae-ho leaned forward. "What makes us different?" "Everything," Sora said. "They build their ships for long battles between big fleets. They stand far apart and shoot energy weapons at each other until one side gives up. It's like a formal dance." "And we don't dance," the captain said. "We don't know how to dance," Do-hyun said, coming up from the engine room. His hands were dirty with oil, and his face was serious. "Captain, I need to tell you something. Our ship isn't what it looks like." "What do you mean?" Do-hyun sat down at the table. "Before we left Earth, some military people came to see me. They said they wanted to make some small changes to our ship, just in case we ran into trouble." "What kind of changes?" "Well, our engines are twice as powerful as they should be. We have armor plating hidden under the regular hull. And those mining lasers we use for cutting asteroids, they're not exactly mining lasers." Minho stopped shaking his leg. "What are they?" "Military-grade cutting beams. They can slice through most types of metal like butter." Yujin looked up from her communication station. "Are you saying we have a warship disguised as a cargo ship?" "Not a warship," Do-hyun said. "But not just a cargo ship either. Think of it as a cargo ship that can bite back." Kim Tae-ho smiled for the first time since the challenge. "What else did these military people give us?" "Electronic warfare systems, stealth technology, some other surprises I haven't told you about." "Why didn't you tell us before?" "They said I should only mention it if we really needed it. I guess we really need it now." Sora was excited. "This changes everything. If their scanner showed us as a simple cargo ship, they won't know about our real capabilities." "But they still have bigger weapons," Minho pointed out. "Bigger doesn't always mean better," the captain said. "David beat Goliath with a sling and a stone." "Who?" "Old Earth story. The point is, sometimes the little guy wins if he's smart enough." Yujin suddenly spoke up. "Captain, I'm getting a lot of communication traffic. Other ships, other stations. Word about our challenge is spreading." "How far?" "I'm picking up signals from 6 different star systems. Some of them are asking for details, others are placing bets." "Bets? On how long we'll last? Most of them think less than 5 minutes." Kim Tae-ho stood up. "Then we better make sure those 5 minutes count. Do-hyun, how long do you need to finish your preparations?" "Give me 6 hours. I want to make some adjustments to our engines and weapons." "You have 4 hours. Sora, I want you to study everything about that asteroid field, every rock, every hiding place. Yujin, monitor all communications. I want to know what they're saying about us." "What about me?" Minho asked. "You're going to help me plan our attack." "Our attack? Shouldn't we be planning our defense?" "The best defense is a good offense," another old Earth saying. The crew spread out to do their jobs. Do-hyun disappeared back into the engine room. Strange sounds began coming from below, hammering, welding, and the whine of power tools. Sora buried herself in star charts and sensor data. Yoo-jin put on her headphones and began listening to alien radio chatter. Kim Tae-ho and Min-ho sat together, looking at pictures of the Dominion's pride. "It's so big," Min-ho said. "Big ships turn slowly," the captain replied. "Big ships take time to change direction. Big ships have blind spots. But big ships also have big guns." "True. But they're used to fighting other big ships. They aim for center mass, expecting their target to sit still and trade shots. What if their target doesn't sit still?" Min-ho began to understand. "You want us to move fast, hit and run." "Exactly. We're not going to stand there and trade punches. With a heavyweight, we're going to dance around him and hit him where he's not looking. But their shields," Sora said, "their shields stop most attacks from other alien ships. She didn't say they stop all attacks from human ships." Over the next few hours, the Perseverance was transformed. Do-hyun worked like a man possessed, installing new systems and modifying old ones. The ship's computer was upgraded with military software. The engines were tuned for maximum acceleration. The weapons were recalibrated. Sora mapped every asteroid in the nearby field. She found hiding spots, escape routes, and places where a small ship could ambush a larger one. She studied the way light and shadow moved through the field, looking for ways to hide their ship from enemy sensors. Yoo-jin listened to the growing chatter about their challenge. More and more aliens were talking about it. Some were curious, some were excited. A few sounded worried. "They're saying no one has challenged the hegemony like this in over 200 years, Yoo-jin reported. "The last species that tried was the Kalari. They're extinct now." "That's encouraging," Min-ho said sarcastically. "Actually, it is," Kim Tae-ho said. "It means the hegemony is used to winning easily. They expect their enemies to be afraid. Fear makes you predictable. Aren't we afraid? Terrified. But we're not going to let fear control us." As the hours passed, other ships began arriving at the station. Word of the challenge had spread, and aliens from across the sector were coming to watch. Some came to see the humans die. Others came hoping to see the hegemony humbled. A few came just because it was something they had never seen before. The Dominion's pride arrived 2 hours before dawn. It was indeed huge, dark gray and angular like a floating fortress. Weapon ports lined its hull. Its engines glowed with contained power. It moved with the confidence of a predator that had never met anything it could not kill. "Look at that monster," Min-ho whispered, staring through the viewing port. "I am looking," Kim Tae-ho replied. "I'm looking at its weak points." "What weak points?" "Every ship has them. The question is whether we can find them and hit them before it kills us." Do-hyun came up from the engine room one last time. His clothes were soaked with sweat, and his hands were cut from working with sharp metal, but he was smiling. "We're ready," he announced. "This ship can do things now that will surprise everyone, including us." "What kind of things?" "You'll see. Just remember, when I tell you to hold on to something, do it immediately." Sora finished her analysis of the asteroid field. "I found us a good starting position. There's a cluster of large asteroids about 10 kilometers from the station. We can hide there until the battle begins." Yoo-jin pulled off her headphones. "Captain, I'm hearing something interesting. Some aliens are saying this challenge is illegal because humans aren't a recognized military power. They think the hegemony should just arrest us. But they're not going to?" Inspector Vex refused. "He wants to fight. I think he's enjoying the attention." Kim Tae-ho nodded. "Pride. It makes people do stupid things." "Are we doing a stupid thing?" Min-ho asked. "Probably. But sometimes, stupid is the only choice you have." Dawn came to Omega 7. The station's lights dimmed to simulate the day cycle. Ships moved away from the docking bays, giving the combatants room to maneuver. Thousands of aliens crowded against viewing ports to watch the battle. The Perseverance left its docking bay first. It moved slowly, looking like exactly what it was supposed to be, a small cargo ship out of its depth. The Dominion's Pride followed, its massive hull casting shadows across the smaller ship. All stations report, Kim Tae-ho ordered. Engines ready, Do-hyun replied. All modifications online. Sensors and communication ready, Yoo-jin said. I'm broadcasting this on all frequencies. The whole galaxy is going to see what happens. Weapons. And defense ready, So-ra reported. Target analysis complete. Tactical ready, Minho said, his voice steadier than before. I've got our battle plan loaded. All right, people, the captain said as they moved toward the asteroid field. We're about to make history. Let's make sure it's the right kind of history. Behind them, the Dominion's pride followed like a shark following a wounded fish. Inspector. Vex was probably laughing, thinking about how easy this was going to be. Captain Kim Tae-ho watched the massive space station grow larger through the viewing window of his ship. Omega-7 was huge, bigger than any city on Earth. The metal structure spun slowly in space, creating artificial gravity for the thousands of aliens who lived and worked inside. Lights blinked along its surface like stars, and dozens of ships moved around it like busy insects. First time seeing something this big? Asked Dr. Park So-ra from behind him. She was the ship's science officer, a smart woman who always asked good questions. Not the first time seeing it, Kim Tae-ho replied, but it still makes me feel small. The Perseverance was not a big ship. It was built to carry cargo between planets, not to impress anyone. The hull was gray and practical, with no fancy decorations. Most alien ships they passed were sleek and shiny, covered in bright colors and strange symbols. The human ship looked plain next to them. Docking request approved, announced Han Yoo-jin from the communication station. Bay 47, lower ring. Take us in, Do-hyun, the captain said. Engineer Lee Do-hyun nodded and worked the controls. The ship moved smoothly toward the docking bay. Do-hyun was good with machines. He could fix anything and make old engines run like new ones. The captain trusted him completely. So-ra, what do you know about the local customs here? Kim Tae-ho asked. Same as most stations, she replied, checking her datapad. Pay your fees, follow the rules, don't cause trouble. The hegemony runs things here. The hegemony was a group of 4 alien species that controlled most of this part of space. They had been trading and fighting among the stars for thousands of years before humans even learned to fly. To them, humans were newcomers, barely worth noticing. The ship settled into the docking bay with a soft thump. Air pumps hissed as the station's atmosphere mixed with the ship's. Green lights showed that everything was safe. All right, people, Kim Tae-ho said to his crew. We're here to sell our cargo and buy supplies. Nothing fancy. We go in, we do. Business, we leave. What about the stories? Asked Lieutenant Choi Min-ho. He was young and always worried about something. About ships disappearing, about aliens taking human cargo? Just stories, the captain said, but his voice was not completely sure. They had heard rumors. Other human ships had come to stations like this one and faced problems. Some aliens thought humans were weak and easy to bully. A few human captains had lost their cargo or worse. Stay alert, Kim Tae-ho added, but don't look for trouble. The crew gathered their equipment and prepared to leave the ship. Do-hyun stayed behind to watch the ship and keep the engines ready. The others walked through the airlock and into the station. The corridors of Omega-7 were wide and tall, built for aliens much larger than humans. The walls were covered with signs in different languages, most of which the humans could not read. Strange smells filled the air, some pleasant, others not so much. Other beings moved through the corridors. Some walked on 2 legs like humans, but most were different. There were tall, thin creatures with too many arms, short, round ones that rolled instead of walked, others that floated in the air or crawled on the walls. Most of them ignored the humans. A few stared, but not in a friendly way. Trading offices this way, So-ra said, reading the signs that were translated into human language. They walked for several minutes through the busy station. The trading office was a large room filled with desks and computers. Aliens of different types worked at the desks, handling business for the many ships that visited the station. Next, called a voice. Kim Tae-ho approached the desk. Behind it sat a creature that looked like a mix between a lizard and a bird. Its skin was green and scaly, but it had feathers around its neck. Species? The alien asked without looking up. Human. Ship name? Perseverance. Cargo. Rare minerals from Earth. Iron, copper, gold, and some radioactive materials. Now the alien looked up. Its eyes were large and yellow. Radioactive materials require special permits. We have them, Kim Tae-ho said, showing his documents. The alien studied the papers for a long time. Too long. Kim Tae-ho began to feel nervous. Wait here, the alien said, and walked away. This is taking too long, Min-ho whispered. Patience, the captain replied, but he was thinking the same thing. After 20 minutes, the alien returned with another creature. This one was much larger, with thick gray skin like an elephant and small red eyes. It wore a uniform with many symbols. I'm Inspector Vex, the large alien said. His voice was deep and rough. Your cargo contains illegal materials. What illegal materials? Kim Tae-ho asked. Everything is listed in our permits. Your permits are not valid here. They're signed by the Galactic Trade Council. They're valid everywhere. Inspector Vex laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. Human permits, worthless paper. Sora stepped forward. Sir, according to galactic law. Humans do not know galactic law, Vex interrupted. You are new here. You must learn how things work. More aliens began to gather around them. Some were station workers, others looked like security guards. The humans were clearly outnumbered. Your cargo will be confiscated, Vex continued. Your ship will be searched. If we find anything else illegal, you will be arrested. You can't do this, Kim Tae-ho said, trying to stay calm. I can do whatever I want, Vex replied. This is a hegemony station. Hegemony rules. The captain looked around. They were surrounded by hostile aliens in the middle of a space station far from Earth. His crew was looking to him for leadership, but what could he do? Then he remembered something his father had told him long ago. A bully will keep pushing until someone pushes back. No, Kim Tae-ho said firmly. What? I said no. You will not take our cargo. You will not search our ship. We have done nothing wrong. Inspector Vex's small eyes grew wide. You dare refuse me? I dare follow the law. Galactic law, which applies to everyone, including you. The other aliens began to make noise, some laughing, others sounding angry. They had never seen a human stand up to the hegemony before. You do not understand, Vex said, moving closer to the captain. Humans are weak. Humans are nothing. You will obey or you will suffer. We'll see about that, Kim Tae-ho replied. Yu Jin had been quietly recording everything with a small device. Sora was taking notes on her datapad. Min-ho was watching the exits, counting how many guards were blocking their way. Very well, Inspector Vex said. You have chosen the hard way. Guards, arrest these humans. The security guards started moving toward them. Kim Tae-ho reached for his communicator. Do-hyun, we have a problem. Back on the ship, Lee Do-hyun heard the message. He immediately began preparing the ship's systems. The engines warmed up. Defensive screens activated. Weapons that were supposed to be turned off suddenly came online. What is happening, Captain? Do-hyun asked through the communicator. They want our cargo. They're trying to arrest us. Are you coming back to the ship? Kim Tae-ho looked at the guards surrounding them. There were too many and they were blocking all the exits. Not yet. Keep the ship ready. If things go bad, you know what to do. Understood, Captain. Inspector Vex heard part of the conversation. Your ship cannot help you now. Surrender peacefully and your punishment will be light. I have a better idea, Kim Tae-ho said. Let's settle this properly. What do you mean? I challenge you to combat. Single ship to single ship. Winner takes all. The entire room went silent. Even the guards stopped moving. Challenge combat was an old tradition, rarely used between major powers. For a human to challenge a hegemony official was unheard of. You challenge me? Vex asked, as if he could not believe what he heard. That's right. Your ship against mine. If you win, you get our cargo and our ship. If we win, you leave us alone forever. Vex began to laugh again, louder this time. Soon other aliens joined in. The idea of a small human cargo ship fighting a hegemony warship seemed like a joke. Very well, Vex said when he stopped laughing. I accept your challenge. It will be amusing to watch your little ship explode. Good, Kim Tae-ho said. When and where? Tomorrow at dawn, station time. The asteroid field near this station, all weapons permitted. Agreed. Vex waved his hand and the guard stepped aside. Go back to your ship, humans. Enjoy your last night alive. Kim Tae-ho and his crew walked. Back through the corridors of the station. Other aliens stared at them now, some with curiosity, others with something that might have been respect. Captain, Minho whispered. What have we done? What we had to do, Kim Tae-ho replied. Sometimes you have to fight back. When they reached the ship, Do-hyun was waiting for them. How bad is it? He asked. Bad, the captain replied. We're fighting a hegemony warship tomorrow morning. Do-hyun nodded slowly. Then I better get to work. As the crew prepared for the battle that would change everything, word of the challenge spread throughout the station. Soon it would spread throughout the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, someone had challenged the hegemony, and that someone was human. 2 weeks after the battle, the galaxy was still talking about what they had seen. Ambassador Yoon Jae-sung sat in his office on the diplomatic station orbiting Kepler Prime, watching news reports from across known space. Every channel, every frequency, every communication network was buzzing with the same story. A human cargo ship had defeated a hegemony warship. Sir, his assistant called from the outer office. You have 17 meeting requests today, all from alien governments. 17? Yoon rubbed his tired eyes. Before the battle, he was lucky to get 1 meeting request per month. Most alien species barely acknowledged that humans existed. Now everyone wanted to talk. The Altarian Council wants to discuss a defense treaty, the assistant continued. The Zephyrian Trade Union is offering exclusive mining rights. 3 different species are asking about human military technology. And the others? Various proposals. Some want to hire human mercenaries. Others are asking about Earth's population and military strength. The Kaldari Syndicate wants to know if Earth is accepting immigration applications. Yoon laughed despite his exhaustion. Immigration? They want to move to Earth? Apparently, several species are asking about that. They think any world that can produce warriors like Captain Kim must be a paradise for fighters. If only they knew, Yoon thought. Kim Tae-ho was a cargo ship captain, not a warrior. He had stumbled into the most famous battle in recent galactic history by accident, but the galaxy didn't know that. To them, the battle proved that humans were a new military power. The recording of the fight had been broadcast on every network, analyzed by every military expert, and discussed in every government building from here to the galactic rim. A soft chime indicated an incoming priority message. Yoon accepted the call, and the holographic image of Admiral Ko Yoonbi appeared above his desk. Jae-sung, we need to talk, the Admiral said without preamble. About the meeting requests? I know we're popular now, but not about meetings, about threats. Yoon's smile faded. What kind of threats? The serious kind. Our intelligence sources are reporting unusual military activity in several hegemony systems. Ship movements, fleet exercises, weapons testing. They're preparing for war? Worse, they're preparing for extermination. The ambassador felt cold. Explain. 3 major hegemony powers are forming a coalition. The Vorthan Empire, the Nexus Collective, and the Keth Dominion. Together, they control about 40% of the galaxy's military strength. How much of that strength are they planning to use against us? All of it. Yoon sat back in his chair. 40% of the galaxy's military strength would be hundreds of warships, maybe thousands. Earth's entire fleet consisted of 12 ships. Most of them converted cargo vessels like the Perseverance. When? He asked. 6 months, maybe less. They're calling it the Pacification Fleet. Their goal is to eliminate the human threat before it can grow larger. Have you informed Earth? I'm informing everyone. President Park needs to know what's coming. The hologram flickered and disappeared, leaving Yoon alone with his thoughts. Outside his window, alien ships moved through space, like slow fish in a vast ocean. Most of them belonged to species that had never paid attention to humans before. Now they were all watching, waiting to see what would happen next. Meanwhile, in a secret laboratory on Earth, Dr. Jung Woo-young was making discoveries that would change everything. The captured technology from the battle with the Dominion's Pride had been sent back to Earth for analysis. What Jung found when he examined it was disturbing. They've been holding back, he told the assembled military leaders. For thousands of years, the major galactic powers have been deliberately limiting technological development. What do you mean? Asked General Han Soo-jin. Jung activated a holographic display showing alien technology schematics. Look at these systems. They're incredibly inefficient. Their power sources waste 90% of their energy. Their weapons are designed to look impressive but not to kill quickly. Their ships are built to be big and obvious, not effective. Why would they do that? Control. If you keep everyone else's technology primitive, you stay on top. The hegemony powers have been preventing other species from developing better weapons, better ships, better defenses. But their ships are still more powerful than ours, another general pointed out. Only because they're bigger. If we built a ship the same size as a hegemony cruiser and used our technology instead of theirs, we'd have 10 times the firepower and 100 times the efficiency. Are you suggesting we build a fleet? I'm suggesting we build the fleet we should have built from the beginning. No more hiding. No more pretending to be weak. General Han looked at the schematics with growing excitement. How long would it take? With our industrial capacity? 4 months for the first ships. 8 months for a full battle fleet. And if the hegemony attacks before then we better hope Captain Kim's example inspired other people to fight back. Across the galaxy, that was exactly what was happening. On the mining world of Tessara, the local hegemony governor was surprised when the native population refused to pay their tribute tax. You will pay, Governor Kaz told the crowd of Tessaran workers who had gathered outside his palace. The tribute tax is required by law. Human law or hegemony law? Asked one of the workers, a tall female with blue-green skin. Hegemony law is the only law that matters. The humans don't think so. Governor Kaz laughed, but it sounded forced. The humans are one small species with one small fleet. They will be crushed soon enough. Maybe, but they showed us something. They showed us that we don't have to be afraid. The crowd began to move forward. Governor Kaz called for his guards, but the guards hesitated. They were Tessarans too, and they had been watching the same broadcasts as everyone else. Similar scenes were playing out on dozens of worlds. Species that had been paying tribute for generations suddenly decided they had paid enough. Trading posts that had been collecting protection fees found themselves facing organized resistance. Hegemony officials who had ruled through fear discovered that fear was no longer working. The galactic balance of power was shifting, and the major powers didn't like it. The situation is becoming serious, 4th Fleet Commander Thax told the Emergency Council meeting. We have reports of civil unrest on 47 worlds. Trade revenues are down 30%. Local governors are requesting military assistance. All. Because of one human ship? Asked Nexus Collective Speaker Zin. Not just the ship, the example. Other species are beginning to believe they can resist us. Keth Dominion war leader Gorthak slammed his massive fist on the table. Then we show them what happens to species that resist. We start with the humans. The pacification fleet is already being assembled, Commander Thax replied. 300 ships from our 3 governments. The largest military force in recorded history. And Earth's defenses? Minimal. Intelligence reports 12 ships total, most of them converted civilian vessels. They have no orbital fortresses, no defensive platforms, no allies. Then this will be over quickly, war leader Gorthak said with satisfaction. We destroy Earth, we scatter the humans, and we remind the galaxy who rules. But there were others listening to these plans. Other species who had their own reasons to fear hegemony domination. The Alderaan Republic had been neutral for centuries. But they remembered when their own colonies had been forced to pay tribute. The Solarian Federation had managed to maintain their independence only by staying in the Outer Rim, far from hegemony attention. The Free Traders Alliance survived by being too small and scattered to threaten anyone. Now they all faced a choice. They could let the humans be destroyed and hope the hegemony would be satisfied, or they could take a stand. The message came to Earth through encrypted channels, passed along by cargo ships and independent traders who wanted to avoid hegemony. Attention. President Park Ji-won read it twice before calling an emergency cabinet meeting. They want to help, she told the assembled ministers. 17 independent species are offering military assistance. How much assistance? Asked Defense Minister Kim Dong-hwan. The Alderans can provide 24 cruisers. The Solarians have 36 frigates and destroyer escorts. The Free Traders are offering 50 converted cargo ships. Converted cargo ships? Armed merchants. Like the Perseverance, but designed for fighting from the beginning. That's still not enough to face 300 hegemony warships. No, but it's a start. And there's something else. The president activated a holographic display showing star charts. Several systems were highlighted in blue. These are the independent worlds that have declared their support for Earth. Not military support, but economic and political support. They're cutting trade ties with the hegemony powers. A trade war? More than that. An independence movement. The battle at Omega 7 didn't just inspire military resistance, it inspired political resistance. Defense Minister Kim studied the chart. The hegemony won't tolerate this. They'll attack these worlds too. Exactly, which means we won't be fighting alone. Admiral Ko Yoon-bi joined the meeting by holographic link from her flagship. Ma'am, she said, I have a report from our intelligence. Sources. The pacification fleet is moving ahead of schedule. They'll be ready to attack in 4 months, not 6. Are we ready? The edge of Earth's solar system had never seen so many ships. Fleet Admiral Seo Jun-ho stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, humanity's first true warship, and watched the enemy fleet approach. 300 hegemony vessels moved through space, in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming under the light of distant stars. Contact in 30 minutes, reported his tactical officer. They're maintaining standard approach vectors. Any communication from them? Just the surrender demand they've been broadcasting for the last 6 hours. Seo Jun-ho had listened to that demand once. It was the same message the hegemony had sent to dozens of species over the centuries. Surrender completely or be destroyed. Accept slavery or face extinction. This time, they would get a different answer. All ships, report status, the Admiral ordered. One by one, the human fleet responded. 48 warships, each one incorporating the lessons learned from the Perseverance's victory. They were smaller than hegemony cruisers, but faster, smarter, and deadlier. Allied fleets report ready, came another voice. Alderan cruisers in position, Solarian destroyers holding formation, Free Trader squadrons standing by. The Allied ships brought their total force to just over 200 vessels, still outnumbered but no longer hopeless. Captain Nam, are your fighters ready? Seo Jun-ho asked. Captain Nam Hye-rin commanded the fighter wings, small ships crewed by pilots who had trained for this moment their entire lives. Ready and eager, Admiral. My people want to show these aliens what human pilots can do. You'll get your chance soon enough. The hegemony fleet continued its approach, confident and unhurried. They had done this before many times. They expected the humans to break formation and run, or surrender without a fight or die quickly and quietly. They were about to learn that expectations could be dangerous. Admiral, the communication officer reported. Incoming message from the hegemony fleet. Commander, put it through. The main screen flickered and showed an alien figure in ornate military dress. His species had gray skin and 4 arms, each ending in sharp claws. His eyes glowed red with anger. I am War Commander Vex, the alien said. You will surrender immediately, or be destroyed. Seo Jun-ho recognized the name. This was Inspector, Vex's superior, the one who had ordered the formation of the pacification fleet. War Commander, the Admiral replied calmly. I am Fleet Admiral Seo Junho of Earth. We reject your demand. Then you choose death. Your small fleet cannot stand against the might of the hegemony. We'll see about that. Vex's red eyes narrowed. You are confident for someone about to die. We are human. Confidence is what we do best. The alien commander cut the transmission without another word. Minutes later, the hegemony fleet began to deploy for battle. They're using standard formation. 7, the tactical officer reported. Heavy ships in front, support vessels behind. They plan to overwhelm us with concentrated firepower, just like they did at Keth Prime, Seo Junho mused, and at Vorthon Station, and at a dozen other battles. Sir? They're fighting the last war, not this one. Execute Battle Plan Alpha. The human fleet suddenly scattered. Instead of meeting, the enemy head-on in a traditional battle line, they split into dozens of small groups. Each group moved in a different direction, using speed and unpredictability to avoid the enemy's weapons. What are they doing? War Commander Vex demanded from his flagship. Why are they running in all directions? His tactical officer studied the displays with confusion. Unknown, sir. This is not a recognized battle formation. Then they are cowards and fools. All ships, pursue and destroy. The hegemony fleet tried to follow the scattered human ships, but they quickly found themselves spread out and confused. Their neat formation dissolved as ships peeled off to chase different targets. That was when the humans struck back. Captain Nam Hye Rin led her fighter squadrons in a devastating attack on the enemy's largest ships. The fighters were too small and fast for the hegemony's main weapons to target effectively. They swarmed over the alien vessels like angry wasps, striking at weapon systems and engine ports. Meanwhile, the human cruisers used their superior speed to pick off isolated enemy ships. They would appear suddenly, unleash a devastating barrage of fire, then disappear before the hegemony forces could respond. This is impossible, Vex shouted, as reports of damage poured in from across his fleet. How can they be everywhere at once? They're using some kind of advanced coordination system, his tactical officer replied. Their ships are acting like a single organism. It was true. Every human ship was linked through quantum communication systems that allowed instant coordination across the entire fleet. When one ship found a target, every other ship knew about it immediately. When one ship needed help, assistance arrived within seconds. The hegemony had never faced an enemy that could think and act as one unified force. But they were not defeated yet. War Commander Vex had fought many battles and conquered many worlds. He would not be beaten by a species of upstart primitives. All ships fall back to defensive formation, he ordered. Concentrate our firepower. Force them to come to us. The hegemony fleet pulled together into a tight defensive sphere. Their combined shields created an almost impenetrable barrier. Their weapons pointed outward in all directions, ready to destroy anything that came too close. They've formed a defensive shell, reported the human tactical officer. We can't break through without taking massive casualties. Admiral Seo Junho smiled. We don't need to break through. We need to break them apart. Sir, launch the special. Weapons. From the human ships came something the galaxy had never seen before. Not missiles, not energy beams, not plasma bolts. Swarms of tiny mechanical devices, each no bigger than a human fist, spread out through space like a cloud of metal insects. There were thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands. What are those things? War Commander Vex demanded. Unknown. Sir, they're too small for our weapons to target effectively. The devices reached the hegemony defensive formation and attached themselves to the alien ships' hulls. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the real attack began. Each device contained a small but powerful cutting laser and a quantum computer smarter than most alien minds. They analyzed the ships they were attached to, found the weakest points in the armor, and began cutting. Within minutes, the mighty hegemony fleet was being eaten alive by mechanical parasites. Hull breaches on decks 4 through 7, came the reports. Life support failing, engine room compromised. Destroy those things, Vex ordered, but the devices were too small and too numerous. Shooting at them was like trying to swat mosquitoes with a cannon. For every one destroyed, 10 more took its place. The hegemony formation began to break apart as ships lost power and suffered critical systems failures. Some tried to run. Others attempted to ram the human vessels in desperate attacks. None of them succeeded. The human fleet moved through the chaos like sharks among wounded fish. They picked off the damaged alien ships one by one, offering surrender terms to crews who were ready to give up. Many accepted. War Commander Vex watched his grand fleet dissolve around him. 300 ships had become 200, then 100, then 50. His own flagship was badly damaged and listing to one side. "Sir," his communication officer said, "the humans are broadcasting a message. Put it through." Admiral Seo Jun-ho's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, the bridge of the Indomitable was calm and organized, showing no signs of the battle that had just taken place. "War Commander," the human said, "your fleet is defeated. Surrender now, and your surviving crews will be treated with respect." "Never," Vex snarled. "The hegemony does not surrender to primitives. Then you will die like a fool instead of living like a wise being." But Vex was not ready to die yet. His flagship still had weapons. His ship still had power. He could take some humans with him. "All remaining ships ramming attack," he ordered. "If we must die, we die with honor." The surviving hegemony vessels turned toward the human fleet, engines at maximum power. It was a final, desperate charge that might have worked against a traditional enemy. But the humans were not traditional. The ramming ships never reached their targets. Human fighters swarmed around them, disabling their engines and weapon systems. The mechanical devices continued their work, cutting through hulls and disabling critical systems. One by one, the attacking ships ground to a halt, dead in space. War Commander Vex's flagship was the last one moving. As it approached the Indomitable, Admiral Seo Jun-ho made a decision that would be remembered for generations. Instead of destroying the enemy ship, he ordered it captured. "Boarding parties away," he commanded. Human Marines in powered armor attached themselves to the alien ship's hull and cut their way inside. They moved through the corridors like ghosts, their advanced equipment allowing them to see in the dark and move without sound. When they reached the bridge, War Commander Vex was waiting for them with a weapon in each of his 4 hands. "I will not be taken alive," he declared. "You don't have to die," replied the Marine Sergeant. "Your war is over. Your fleet is gone. There's no shame in living to see tomorrow." Vex looked around his ruined bridge. His officers were wounded or unconscious. His ship was powerless. His grand fleet was nothing but debris and captured vessels. Slowly, he lowered his weapons. The asteroid field looked like a graveyard of dead planets. Huge chunks of rock and metal floated in the darkness, some as big as mountains, others no bigger than houses. They had been drifting here for millions of years, slowly grinding against each other, creating a maze of stone and shadow. "Position reached," Sora announced as the Perseverance slipped between 2 massive asteroids. "We're hidden from their sensors." Kim Tae-ho watched the Dominion's Pride approach through the field. The huge ship moved carefully, avoiding the larger rocks. Its hull gleamed under the light of distant stars. "They're not in a hurry," Minho observed. "They think they have all the time in the world." "Let them think that," the captain replied. "Yujin, are you recording this? Every second, broadcasting on all frequencies, half the galaxy is watching." "Good. When this is over, I want everyone to know what happened here." Inspector Vex's voice crackled over the communication system. "Human ship, this is your last chance. Surrender now and I will make your deaths quick." Kim Tae-ho picked up the communicator. "Inspector, this is your last chance. Leave now and we won't embarrass you in front of the entire galaxy." Vex's laughter boomed through the speakers. "Embarrass me? You are a cargo ship with mining equipment. I command a warship built to destroy fleets. You cannot even scratch my paint." "We'll see about that." "Yes, we will. Prepare to die, human." Communication channel went dead. In the distance, the Dominion's Pride began charging its weapons. Energy built up in the plasma cannons, creating a blue glow along the ship's hull. They're targeting us, Sora said, watching her instruments. Multiple weapon locks. Do-hyun, are you ready? Ready, Captain. Remember what I said about holding on to something. All crew secure for combat maneuvers, Kim Tae-ho announced. This is going to get rough. The Dominion's Pride fired. A dozen plasma bolts screamed through space, each one powerful enough to destroy a building. They lit up the asteroid field like deadly fireworks, heading straight for the human ship. Now, Do-hyun. The engineer hit his controls and the Perseverance disappeared. Not literally. The ship was still there, still solid, still occupying the same space. But to every sensor on the hegemony ship, it had simply vanished from existence. The eye. Plasma bolts struck empty space where the human ship had been a second before. They hit asteroids instead, turning rock into vapor and lighting up the darkness with brilliant explosions. What? Inspector Vex's voice came over the emergency channel. Where are they? Stealth systems online, Do-hyun reported, his voice calm, despite the chaos around them. They can't see us, they can't target us, and they can't find us. How long will it last? The captain asked. Not long, maybe 5 minutes before they figure out how to track us. Then we better make those 5 minutes count. Take us around behind them. The Perseverance moved through the asteroid field like a ghost. The powerful engines that Do-hyun had installed pushed the ship at speeds that should have been impossible for a vessel its size. They curved around the larger rocks, using them as cover, heading for the hegemony ship's blind spot. They're firing randomly, Yujin reported, trying to hit us by luck. More plasma bolts lit up the field. The Dominion's Pride was shooting at shadows, hoping to get lucky. Each missed shot made Inspector Vex more angry and more desperate. Scanning for us with active sensors, Sora said. They're pushing their systems hard, but our stealth is holding. Target analysis complete, Minho announced. I've identified their weak points. Show me. On the main screen, a detailed image of the enemy ship appeared. Red circles marked specific locations along its hull. Their shield generators are here, here, and here, Minho explained, pointing to the circles. 3 primary generators, 6 secondaries. If we can take out the primaries, their shields will fail. Can we get close enough to hit them? With our stealth, yes, but we'll have to get very close, within 100 meters. That's almost ramming range. Almost. Kim Tae-ho studied the tactical display. The hegemony ship was still turning slowly, trying to find them. Its weapons continued to fire at empty space. Do-hyun, can our weapons punch through their shields at close range? The cutting beams can. They're designed to slice through armor plating. At point-blank range, they'll go right through their defensive screens. How close is point-blank range? 50 meters, maybe less. 50 meters? Minho's voice cracked. We'll be sitting on top of them. Exactly, the captain said. They won't expect us to get that close. Their own weapons can't target us if we're pressed against their hull. But if we miss, we won't miss. The Perseverance continued its silent approach. They were now less than a kilometer from the enemy ship, close enough to see individual weapon ports and sensor arrays. The Dominion's Pride looked even bigger up close, like a floating city bristling with guns. They're getting frustrated, Yujin reported. I'm hearing a lot of angry voices on their communication channels. Good, angry people make mistakes. Captain, Sora said. I'm detecting something. They're preparing to use their main weapon. What main weapon? Heavy plasma cannon. It's built into the front of their ship. I didn't see it on the technical specs because it's classified military hardware. Kim Tae-ho felt his stomach drop. How big? Big enough to vaporize this entire asteroid field. When will it be ready? 2 minutes, maybe less. The captain made a quick decision. Change of plans. We're not sneaking up on them. We're going straight at them. Captain? Minho sounded confused. Their main weapon is fixed forward. They have to point their whole ship at us to fire it. But while they're turning to face us, their rear section will be exposed. You want to attack their engines? Their engines, their life support, their command center. Everything important is in the rear section because that's normally the most protected part of the ship. But we'll be flying straight into their main gun. Not if we're fast enough. Do-hyun's voice came over the intercom. How fast do you need to go? As fast as this ship can move without killing us. Hold on to something, and I mean really hold on. The Perseverance shot forward like a bullet from a gun. The acceleration was so violent that the crew was pressed back into their seats despite the safety restraints. The asteroid field became a blur of gray and black as they raced toward the enemy ship. "They see us!" Yujin shouted over the noise of the straining engines. "Stealth failed!" "It doesn't matter. Now," Kim Tae-ho replied through gritted teeth. "We're committed." The Dominion's pride began to turn, trying to bring its main weapon to bear. But the ship was huge and slow, designed for long-range combat, not dogfighting. The human ship was small and fast, dancing around the lumbering giant like a bee around a bear. 30 seconds to weapons range, Sora announced. "They're almost finished turning," Minho warned. "That main gun is going to fire soon. Not if we stop them first." The Perseverance streaked past the enemy ship's hull, so close that they could see individual armor plates and weapon emplacements. Some of the smaller guns tried to track them, but they were moving too fast. "Now!" Kim Tae-ho shouted. The cutting beams fired. Not one beam, but 6 of them, all focused on a single point on the enemy ship's rear hull. The beams were designed to cut through asteroid rock and metal. Against the hegemony ship's armor, they worked like hot knives through butter. The beams punched through the hull and into the ship's interior. Explosions began to chain through the rear sections as critical systems were damaged or destroyed. "Direct hit on their engine room," Sora reported. "They're losing power." The Dominion's pride shuddered and began to list to one side. Its main weapon, almost ready to fire, powered down as energy was diverted to emergency systems. "Come around for another pass," Kim Tae-ho ordered. "Another pass?" Minho asked. "We got them already." "We damaged them. That's not the same as stopping them." The Perseverance curved around a large asteroid and came at the enemy ship from a different angle. The hegemony vessel was trying to turn to face them, but it was moving much more slowly now. "Target their weapon systems," the captain ordered. "Which ones?" "They have dozens. All of them." The second attack run was even more devastating than the first. The cutting beams sliced through weapon ports and sensor arrays, leaving the great ship blind and mostly defenseless. But the Dominion's pride was not finished yet. "Captain." Sora's voice was urgent. "They're launching fighters." Small ships began pouring out of the enemy vessel's launch bays. Hegemony fighters were sleek and fast, designed to swarm larger ships and overwhelm them with numbers. "How many?" Kim Tae-ho asked. 12. No, 16. Still counting. "Can we outrun them?" "Not all of them," Do-hyun replied. "Some of those fighters are faster than we are." "Then we fight them." "Captain, we're not a fighter. We're a cargo ship with some modifications." "Then we better be a very good cargo ship." The enemy fighters spread out in attack formation, trying to surround the human vessel. Their weapons began firing, filling space with energy bolts and small missiles. "Evasive maneuvers," Kim Tae-ho ordered. Do-hyun threw the ship into a series of wild turns and loops that would have made a professional pilot sick. The Perseverance twisted through the asteroid field like a fish swimming through coral, using the rocks for cover. "They're too fast," Minho reported. "We can't shake them. All. Then we don't shake them, we make them come to us."